Hello everybody, welcome to the iRacing eSports Network and the Suzuka circuit in Japan for the World GT Championship on iRacing with Pure Sim, presented by Apex Racing TV, Andrew Woodhouse, Sam Fitzpatrick, and in the director's box, Sam Kumar, bringing you all the cameras and things like that. And Sam, we've got a great meeting scheduled tonight. 3 sprint races in one of the greatest circuits of all time.
It really is. As a driver's circuit, it is right up there. I think maybe Spa can rival this place in terms of a driver's circuit. I think apart from that, this place really does take the mantle. It is an absolute joy. I'm sure the drivers have been loving setting sometimes in practice and qualifying that they're now in as well. But it should be even more fun for the hour or so of racing that we're going to get to.
Yeah, we're just in the middle of the qualifying session, then 15 minutes to decide the grid for the first of the 3 20-minute sprint races. And Josh Thompson's made a terrific start to qualifying. He's 1 second clear of everyone else, which is unprecedented, really. You can see the times on your screen there. Everyone else pretty close. Thompson's found some absolute magic out there in his privateer entry. And he's absolutely astonishing that time, Sam.
Is a bit. We saw Mangan take pole by half a second at Monza, didn't we, a couple of weeks ago? If Thompson can beat that, then that would be extremely impressive. But that is, yeah, huge time from Thompson at the moment. He is back in the pits at the moment. I imagine the others will get closer, but that is, I mean, everyone's put in a couple of strong times, and we're decently far into the session, already 8 minutes in, so that is absolutely mega. Only half the session remaining for anyone to get close.
Yeah, very difficult. It's going to be, I think, to unseating, but we will see. As most of the drivers have completed their first run and heading back into the pits. It's quite a long lap here as well, so a run of what I would probably suggest 2 fast laps, an out lap, 2 fast laps, and then an in lap will take about 8 minutes. So we'll only really get 2 runs. This is, you see a few drivers coming across and setting personal best times. Lars van Rijn is one of them for Boosted Sim Sport, sorry, in 19th place. He's just set his best time of the qualifying session. Rich Warmingham's out there on a decent lap as well. Let's see where he puts the XVR Sim Racing car. And he goes up to 18th, so really much change there for Warmingham despite the fast sectors. Carl Moore is on a good lap as well. Well, I thought we were going to get an improvement from him, doesn't look like it.
Yeah, of course, the familiar faces at the front, but not quite sure which car is going to really favour this place. In recent rounds, we've been some pretty low downforce circuits where the McLaren is kind of particularly strong. I think the BMW that we're currently watching Rich Warmingham handle around this track could be back on pace around this place. I don't think there's going to be a weak car as well, which is always great to see. Apart from the Ford, obviously, the Ford is always weak.
The Ford is always weak, but the Ford still goes, and we can have a look and see where Dennis Melcher there, just right on cue. Sam Kumar's gone and found him. 4 seconds off the pace at the moment, but you know, I'm sure the German has got something up his sleeve for the remainder of this session. 5 minutes left.
He is the fastest Ford driver, at least. So, I mean, even the pace car it's tricky to keep up with in this machine, but no, I'm sure Dennis has actually driven very well from what I've seen at least this season. I'm sure he'll be getting pretty close. By the way, in the championship, somehow Mark Fletcher is still leading the way. He's had 3 underwhelming rounds. Daytona wasn't too bad, but he did start from last, and so you can understand that it wasn't great from that point onwards. But the 2 rounds before that, Monza and Road America, were absolutely terrible, as we see each other going to the alternate pits. Yet he's still in the lead by virtue of the job scores. However, George McClay is in 2nd place behind him. Pete Harrod is right there. He's been misconsistent. Oscar Mangan has been mega impressive. Michael Docker was very strong at Daytona, of course. You've got Palmer, Bibby, Rose had a very poor round last time out, and McFarlane, Shield, and probably Thompson as well is still standing a chance. So plenty at stake in the championship, and that's just the Pro Championship, let alone the Pro-Am in the end.
Most of the drivers have gone out on their outlap for their final run in qualifying. Rich Warmingham has improved on his time. He's got up to 14th place, and Carl Moore's got up to 15th. So that's really the only movement there. Simon Field is on a lap, but I think he might have bought an inch on Aegis likewise. Kevin Bolland is looking to improve on 37th place. Let's see if he can do that. 1:57.8 is the time that he has to beat. Didn't seem to improve that time. In fact, he's coming to the pits, so he won't be setting an improvement this time. Oscar Mangan's out on a lap, as is Mark Fletcher. Oh, well, he's on his out lap. Lewis Bibby's on his fast lap. There's a few out there on decent qualifying attempts.
Yeah, still plenty of time to improve. At the moment, the track temperature is 33 degrees. It's warming up though. We are getting later and later in the day, so it's currently 5 minutes to 9 in the morning. And so the track will probably be getting a little bit slower as this session goes on, but it shouldn't be too bad for the guys. It should still be very operational by the end. But still 1 second is the gap as the drivers go for their, well, I believe this is their 4th attempt at a lap now.
George McClay, second in the championship, he goes 11th. The Scotsman in the Renvale Fitzstein Motorsport car has climbed up the standings. Craig Jones, one of the leaders in the AM category, currently leading the AM category, in fact. He's just finished his lap. I don't know exactly where he's gone, but he had a lot of green sectors on the timing sheet. In fact, hasn't set a time yet, so I'm not sure if that's a glitch or whether that is him abandoning the lap. As somebody spun in the Dunlop curve there. Somebody crashed on the inside. Not quite sure who that was. It was a Mercedes. Dennis Melcher's trying to drag I think Dean Timms, we're getting word that it might be him who's gone off in that part of the circuit. We're looking at the Mercedes here of McClay. He's gone off on another lap. Foggy has abandoned his lap and he's going for another out lap now, so he's desperately trying to get one in. I'm not sure he's going to get one in time. We'll see if he comes across Sam and manages to start another flyer.
Yeah, and of course, just a little bit of a reminder to everyone, unlike the official series, you can complete the lap that you start. So even if we go down to the 15 minutes, then you can complete that lap time that you started. So it is a bit of extra time for the guys, as if they need it. They do have 15 minutes anyway. Come on, guys, you've got enough time. They can use that extra minute or so. So I'm
be surprised.
Yeah.
If you're new to the series, it's amazing how 15 minutes around somewhere like this, though, Sam, like I've mentioned before, it might give you 3, maybe 4 attempts if you're looking. Remember, any off track, any car contact, or any loss of control will invalidate the lap. So it doesn't matter how fast or slow you're going. If you leave the racing surface or make any contact with any object, including a wall, that will invalidate the time.
Yeah, we've seen a few times drivers starting from the back with no qualifying time set because they have messed up every single lap that they have attempted. So yeah, you're absolutely right. It does happen a decent amount of time as the qualifying session is over.
Josh Thompson, I think he's on another lap. He's just come across to finish his lap. Has he gone any faster? He has indeed. 1:57.774, and he's happy with that, you can tell. Going even quicker and extending the advantage, Sam, to 1.1 seconds. Don't know if anybody can even try and stop that. I think there's a couple of people out on laps, but I don't know if there's anybody who's going to trouble that.
No, I think that's pretty much checkmate to everyone else. Everyone.
It must be a record. It must be a record in the World GT Championship.
And if there is a record, I'm sure Josh Thompson already holds it. So I'm sure he's just extending that for himself. You can see very few green sectors being set. So Mark Fletcher would like to get a little bit further up the order. We've seen this a few times though with Thompson. First couple of rounds, Barcelona and at Bathurst. He was mighty, but then didn't get maximum points because he just got caught up in other incidents. So it can kind of mess you up at the same time. Fletcher is not going to improve on his lap time, it seems, for Ross McFarlane.
Only just
also Evdoka's come into the pits. McFarlane, here he comes in his McLaren. the reborn McLaren takes a shorter line to the finish, and does he improve?
Yes, he does.
He does, up to 4th.
Yeah, good lap time there by McFarlane. It's got him one more row of the grid forward, so that can only be a positive thing for the Texas Fitstyle Motorsport driver. And you've got 2 privateers on the front row, Josh Thompson, Oscar Mangan. And, but there really is a chasm between the 2 of them. I'm going to ask Thompson where he found the shortcut later. I'm going to use it for myself.
Well, we have a couple of different layouts around this place. We have the East Circuit, which will be coming up in the ARLTC Championship later on in the season. That'll be one of the showdown rounds where you can peel to the right there, go through the cones, and go back to the start-finish line.
Yeah, that
was got the West as well, which is alright, and the Moto as well, which I swear has never been used, where you got a little extra chicane as well, just after the hairpin.
It's not been used. Oh, maybe it has once. I'm gonna try and figure that out if we have actually used that before on Apex Racing TV. I will. I'll consult with Adam Bath on that one. He'll remember. But yeah, the East Circuit, very, very good indeed. It's that fastest section and then a tightening corner onto the main straight. But we're here on the full GP layout today, and we're going to have 3 20-minute races. So look for just over 10 laps, maybe 11, in the first race, and then races 2 and 3 at the other side of the next commercial breaks. They will be decided by the reverse grid and the spin of the wheel. So there'll be a bit of randomization in there, and some of the drivers who finish lower down the order will get a chance to battle it out at the front. As here's the grid, Sam.
Yes, and it is Josh Thompson on pole position by over 1 second, like we were saying before. Oscar Mangan, he's in good form. The Irishman starts on the front row of the grid. Then it's Nick Boggy, Ross McFarlane, Lewis Bibby, and Mark Fletcher, top 2 in the championship, or at least Fletcher is top of the championship at the moment. Then it's his brother, Billy Fletcher, good qualifying there for Fletcher in 7th, top of the Pro-Ams. Michael Abdotka, Pete Harrod, and Ben Palmer, all championship contenders, found out the top 10. Another championship contender, George McClay, starts in 11th. Then 2nd place out of the Pro-Ams, Mike Horder in 12th. Behind that is Nick Madsen, Richard Warmingham, Carl Moore, Mike Gray, Ethan Bass, Ashley Beard, Ben Gregory, Dan McCauley, Lars Menrine, Simon Underhill, Andy Shield, Mark Woodhouse, Michael Blake, Stephen McCaffrey, Steve Burke, Adam Hedgecock, Chaz Draycott, Simon Field, Tom Jacobs, John Juice, Matt Bunn in 33rd, Pete Harrod, Carl Yacolet, Kevin Boland, John Roberts, Dennis Melchertz in the fraud, of course, Dean Timms, Carl Hardy, Max Bird, Kieran Cheung, Craig Jones, Matt Jaycott, Nathan Dixon, and Chris Hoglan. Taylor Lane, Jack Hills, and Harry Wills hopefully will take the start. If so, we have a bumper field of 49 cars up there.
Yeah, and the run. Well, I was going to say the run into turn 1 is going to be interesting. It still will be with the rolling start, of course, as you see the iRacing safety car there in front of the field. This field of what is 48 drivers is going to fight it out to see who can be the best here in the Far East. And the Suzuka circuit, well, it's been a mainstay in top-level motorsport now for well over 30 years, and seen some amazing moments, seen triumph and tragedy, success and failure, controversy, but above all, some great racing, and we should get some here today.
Absolutely, expect some mega moves around the outside of 130R. I'm watching that out for that one. Bonus points for anyone who can go around the outside of 130R. So good luck to all the guys on that.
Don't encourage them. They will try it. But yeah, we hope everybody's enjoying the broadcast here on Apex Racing TV. We hope you're staying home and staying safe. Strap yourselves in for 2 great hours of racing here at the Suzuka circuit. And the first 20 minutes will start now as Josh Thompson brings us to the green. Mangan got a decent jump. Thompson flashes the lights. They fly into turn 1. Brilliant corner, terrifying corner. and Thompson still maintains it over Oscar Mangan. Then it's Foggy. Then McFarlane, Mark Fletcher, championship leader, Lewis Bibby. And then there's Billy Fletcher getting his elbows out on Evdoka, Sam, in the first sector.
Yeah, having to defend from Evdoka. Good start for Fletcher getting past Bibby. They are teammates, but still Fletcher will be very pleased he's gained that one place. Very few changes on the most part. McClay dropping a couple of places. That's not what he needed, down into 13th place. Good start for Woodhouse. Good start for Van Rijn, top of the amateur drivers in qualifying. You can see he's only one place ahead of McCaffrey now. So going to be under big pressure there as gradually the getting into single part, so narrow this part of the circuit, but watch out for a couple of lunges into the hairpin. It's very invitational at times.
Yes, the Kamui Kobayashi hairpin, as they probably should call it one day, who knows. Made that famous as an overtaking spot. Mike Horder, the Welshman, then in the boosted car, the pink and black and green and all sorts of colours boosted car, ahead of the Ferrari of Nick Madsen. The Dane, well, he gets a good exit out of Spoon Curve, and he's going to use the slipstream all the way up to 130R. If you can follow through this, again, another terrifying corner, a little dab of the brakes, chuck it in. It's a proper corner in these GT cars, isn't it, Sam? There's no flat out nonsense in these.
Absolutely not. Yeah, in single seaters it's become quite a comfortable corner that even prototypes I think will be quite comfortable, and maybe even GTEs as well, but in these GT3s it is properly tricky, that corner. Do you have to brake? It's not just the lift, as we saw on board with Madsen, or on board with McClay. You did actually have to tap the brakes in order to get through that corner.
I tell you what, oh, contact at turn 1, there goes Ben Gregory. And I think that was contact with...
that was Macaulay going wide with the contact from Gregory. Oh,
right, Macaulay, yeah. I was going to say, though, Sam, very, very quickly, I know it was only lap 1, but Thompson said a 1:57.09 on the first lap.
2 seconds faster.
Was that faster than his qualifying?
We have not seen this domination in the World GT.
It was. His qualifying was 57.7.
Wow.
Astonishing. Look at him. I mean, look at the rate he's pushing already. He's got this car well and truly underneath him. The man who drives for Williams eSports. Williams have had some success at Suzuka over the years, I'll tell you that. May continue today with the man from the Isle of Man, Josh Thompson. Oscar Mangan, then, former pro driver in the McLaren MP412C. McLaren have had some famous times at this track as well, and you can see more, and the Mercedes behind, they more recently have enjoyed success here. So famous names on this legendary circuit battling it out, Sam, just as it's always been, and just as it always should be.
Absolutely, and the Ferraris as well, don't forget that one. Big year in 2000, of course, around this circuit when they broke their ducts. For
oh, look up inside!
Yeah, and Mangan is, well, he's not looking comfortable at the moment, is Mangan whatsoever. On this lap, the gap between second and third has constantly been below 3 tenths. Believe it or not, this is that big as the gap has been for the past couple of laps. Just that half overtaking attempt from Foggy's just put him off slightly. McCaffrey dropped down the order, so McCaffrey was second place out of the amateur drivers, and crucially he's dropped outside the top 25, so that's quite big in terms of that race. Still at the top of the amateur drivers, I believe is sure it might be Tom Jacobs now.
Of the AM drivers,
they've all kind of
I think is it Burke in 26th?
Well, Van Rijn was top, wasn't he? But he's had a rubbish year so far. He's down 8 places.
Yeah. You're right.
So he might still be top, Van Rijn, but
I must point out my own daftness. Actually, I said that Thompson's first lap was faster than qualified. I believe on lap 1 it takes the time from the finish line and not from the start line potentially, because it's showing that now the 58.5 that he did in the last lap as the fastest lap of the race. So I believe I duped myself there a little bit.
It was still quick. You got the message across that
He was still 2 seconds quicker than anybody else. Oh, that's Adam Hedgecock, and he's in the gravel. And that's down at Degner too, it looks like. So, is he going to turn into Degner 1 okay, and then get into some difficulties on the brakes? Yes, he is. Whoa! Did well not to hit anything, actually, there.
Remember Heikki Kovalainen, who is probably my top 5 favourite F1 drivers of all time, crashing there in 2009, doing that exact same thing, just running wide through the first part and then not being able to slow the car down for the second part. And with these new tyres, I bang on about it every single week, but it is insanely slippery off the circuit as
we saw
it's getting past order.
Yeah, we saw these two getting into it almost on the previous lap. This time, Madsen did get the slipstream to take on Mike Horder. And now coming into the mix is McClay. He's got championship points maybe to protect, but he wants to push on and he wants to try and get this... off! Madsen wide. I wondered where he'd gone, I'll be honest. And, wide he went.
That's a lot of hard work undone. I think he would have had the pace as well to catch up to Pete Harrod. Madsen, we know, is a very quick driver, and I'm sure with a bit more experience, he's going to be a championship contender in the future. But right now,
warming up chancing his arm,
having everything going against it. Warming trying to recreate Eddie Irvine's famous move there in '97.
Yeah, it is. I wouldn't call it a good overtaking place, but it's certainly one that you can manufacture if you really, really commit to it. I've made that move myself, and it is one that really catch out the opponent if they're not paying attention, as sometimes can happen. A big dive up the inside by Mike Gray in the BMW, and that's on Carl Moore in the Audi. So Moore started in 15th place, he's dropped down. Mike Gray started in 16th place, he's moved up. Simple as that, isn't it?
If only it was that simple for all the races, we'd have a very in the commentary box. That's third place then in the
he's going wide.
He's a bit wide, does great. That's just going to bog them down a little bit. And
Ash Beard.
Yeah, how quick he is. Surprised that. Well, I mean, Beard won, of course. I completely forget. Him and Mark Fletcher yesterday won in the Sim Racers World Endurance Championship. Anyone who saw the last 10 minutes of that, I swear, possibly the greatest 10 laps I've ever seen.
Wow.
And I have been commentating for a couple of years.
Now that is an excuse to go and watch it tonight or tomorrow. That is, everybody.
It was very good. It will keep you guessing right to the checkered flag, is all I can say.
Wow. And that, ladies and gentlemen, it's out to promote. It's about to promote something. No, genuinely, that is that sounded like a brilliant race. Didn't get to watch it myself, but pretty sure I will be going to do that now. As here's Dan McCauley, as we saw him off in turn 1 after the contact with Ben Gregory. He's now in 22nd place, and his fight back begins by trying to overtake Mark Woodhouse. Now, Woodhouse in the Team Mad BMW. Team Mad had some successes at the 12 Hours of Suzuka, indeed, over the past couple of days. And they'll be looking to continue that here with Woodhouse.
Yeah, absolutely. And the BMW seems to be running well, don't they? There's quite a few of them up in the top 20. Go a little bit further back to see Matt Bunn. He was up 8 places. It's funny. He's one of the highest gainers. In fact, the next highest gainer ahead of him is only 3 places for Mark Woodhouse. So Matt Bunn has had a storming drive so far. You wouldn't bet against him getting a 9th here. Just
that's a good exit.
Is Woodhouse. Apologies, not Woodhouse, Blake. It's not close enough.
Same car, it's alright. It's him. We were staring at the back of Woodhouse's car a minute ago.
Oh, Hedgecock's off again. What's happening to Adam?
I don't know, but our colleague here at Apex Racing.
Oh, and Beard spins it as well.
Oh, he's been hit by the drivers we were just watching, I think. And that might have been Michael Blake that just smashed into it.
Well, that's a bit of a curse. Apologies, Ashley. You won yesterday. You're not going to win race 1 at least.
Or was it? Or could it have been Woodhouse? It may have been Woodhouse, you know, Sam. So I think there is Woodhouse, and there, going through on the inside, was Dan McCauley.
I think so.
Oh, he's got all sorts of problems there. He's having to take well to the outside in 130R. And I wonder if that's too much damage because, oh, this is a sketchy part of the track to be going slowly. I'll tell you that, as there's a move there by John Aegis. Oh, and off goes Dennis Melcher.
That's not the way to go.
As Ayrton Senna found out, he can get disqualified for that, apparently.
Exactly. Stuart's on alert for that one. Didn't do the full race distance, would he? All right. There's no question about it.
Well, we're not going to tell Jean-Marie Balestre about that one. Otherwise, there'll be all sorts of problems. But Melcher on his way, I'm not sure what happened. I think it was contact with John Aegis, who was going up the inside into the chicane. Didn't quite see what happened again, but we may have the replay. Oh dear. Yep, there it is. Hit by the BMW. And the Ford, the oldest car in the field, goes on his way again after a bit of a detour. Apologies to Josh Thompson. We're not showing him at the front because, frankly, he's buggered off and left everybody. Lewis Bibby's in 8th place. He is right behind Michael Evdoka, so looks like Bibby might have had a bit of an excursion. And Sam, this might be the extra points that you were talking about. I thought maybe for a second he was going to try something.
Oh, Underhill's binned it. Simon Underhill's off the track, and the Nomad driver is falling down the order at the main. Was up in the top 20, but just dropping outside the top 40, I think now. But yeah, Bibby lost, I think, 3 places on that lap. Sorry, 2 places. He was on the pack of Fletcher, but now he's behind Billy Fletcher. I can't remember Billy Fletcher running this high in a race 1 before. No disrespect to Billy, but he is very quick. But usually he's about half a second a lap slower than his.
A couple of weeks ago he was, I think a couple of rounds ago he was up there. But yeah, it's not a super regular thing, it looks like. So he was quick though last year in the GTE cars, and he did used to appear inside the top 10 very regularly then. But in this large field that we're seeing, yeah, he's impressive stuff. Driving for CQR SimSports now, Billy Fletcher, and we'll be hunting down his brother.
Apparently they're not brothers. They are some other relation. I can't remember.
That's what I get for listening to other people. Right.
They're sisters? I don't know. We'll say that.
I've avoided saying that for a long time because I didn't know.
Bibby has got back past Evdoka. So maybe they feel that seems they choreograph with Evdoka. Maybe he feels like Bibby is a bit faster and he's the one to go after Billy ahead. Of course, Mark is a pit side driver as well, so at least in this championship, so it's a little bit tricky, I guess, with these guys because they've all got allegiances to one another.
Yeah, and other teams as well. I mean, Mark's the team principal of Year 1 Racing as well.
Exactly. And I drove for them yesterday as well, so yeah. Too many fingers and too many pies.
Well, Bibby going along quite nicely after his problems. I'm sure he'll be able to regroup, but it's frustrating when you lose track position, especially when something like that's going on. Now here is Fletcher versus Fletcher. Relation or no relation, we don't know, but we are seeing a great battle on the track.
Moore has dropped down. So Carl Moore, he was up in 3rd place out of the Pro-Am, and Ben Gregory is off the track.
That'll be in turn 1, won't it?
Only lost 2 places, so yeah, imagine he's just run wide at turn 1.
McCauley's past him.
Oh,
and he's going to try the sneaky one. Billy Fletcher on the inside in the Audi. Mark Fletcher on the outside in the Mercedes. And into Degner 1, commitment needed. And they both show it. But Billy Fletcher shows just that little bit more on that occasion. But Mark Fletcher, remember, Sam, well, you know, he's leading the championship. And as you said, he hasn't had a wonderful month of April in this series, but he's going maybe some way towards remedying that by picking his battles and being careful out there.
Definitely, he knows that the difference between 5th and 6th in race 1 is very minimal. Of course, the lower down you finish in race 1, the higher up you'll start in race 2. Only one place, but that can certainly help you out, especially if you get a smaller burst grid. Here is more.
This is the replay of what happened to Carl Moore, yeah.
He has come into the pit since.
Oh, there goes Mike Gray.
Oh dear.
Oh,
That's unlucky.
is that a broken right front? Yeah. Ah, so unlucky. Oh, I saw the iRacing, not the top 10 highlights earlier on YouTube, and there was a guy who was in the, he was coming out of the pit lane, and somebody spun off the oval section, flew into the pit lane exit, and took him out in the IndyCar. It's just about as unlucky as that, really, for Carl Moore.
Yeah, pretty much. That was broadcast as well by us. You can hear the sultry tones of Marco Barbanera and Austin
Yes.
Knight when you are listening to that, which makes the clip even better. Of course, if you check that one out on, I believe it's just on the normal iRacing channel, isn't it?
Well, silly sim racing moments plus Italian commentators equals absolute gold, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So there you go. And now we've got more Italians joining the roster as well. So there you go. You look forward to that. Ciao a tutti, everybody, as well. And grazie for joining us here tonight. You could even say grazie ragazzi, but then that would be excluding the women, so we're not going to do that. Oh, spinner!
Yeah.
Oh, bang! And there goes Andy Shield, and it's Ben Gregory in the middle of the Dunlop curve. Absolutely nowhere that the following drivers could go. Here's the replay, Sam. What happened?
Yeah, he's just run wide, tipped a wheel onto the gut. Actually got away with it the first time. He used the escape road.
Twice. Oh.
Yeah, and then he was...
Is that Harrod who copped one, was it?
I think so. He was behind him. Oh, I think that was Shield. I think it was Shield he hit.
Oh, it was Shield, wasn't it? Yeah, because
Bun hit pass.
Oh man, well that has turned a few people's days upside down. They might have to rely on reverse grid if indeed they make it to the end. This is Pete Harrod, and he's got Mark Fletcher behind him. Now Mark Fletcher's down to 9th position. So was that anything to do with that incident?
Wait, it kind of all went on behind them, didn't it? So I'm not sure what happened to...
Mark Fletcher's done a 2:05.7. Wow. That's the slowest lap out of anybody that hasn't crashed. So what on earth happened to Mark Fletcher on that lap? Was he one of the cars that had to avoid the spinning? No, he was in front of it, wasn't he?
Quite a bit.
Here's the replay. He's going into Spoon Curve. First part is fine. Oh, spin. Oh, and whoever that was behind him, I think it was Bibby, did a great job to avoid him. Great job. So Mark Fletcher down to 9th. Here's Ben Palmer in 10th, and we see him now trying to chase down the championship leader. Fletcher, McClay, Harrod, Evdoka and Mangan is the top 5 in the championship, and here's Nick Madsen. He's having a look to the hairpin.
Oh, got a little bit of a helping hand from Warmingham as well. Just the deck, you hear a little bit of a clip from behind. Sam Kume appropriately saying how that McLaren tagger is a barbecue when you're jolted when you're put to the back of that car. I do like that tagger. I was particularly proud of that one when we were saying that about a minute ago.
Chaz Draycott's been off as well. He was off for 13 seconds, so problem for Draycott. And this is going to be the final lap as Josh Thompson flashes the lights. What a performance, Sam. I don't think I can remember in all the years of this series We're now in the 7th season. I can't remember a driver take pole position by 1.1 seconds, which is, it's akin to that lap that Jacques Villeneuve did in '97 in Australia, where he just blew everybody away, but then go on to win the race in dominant fashion. That didn't happen to Villeneuve because he got crashed off at the first corner, but certainly Thompson has taken this and absolutely run with it. In a Williams as well.
Yeah. I mean, what was George Russell playing at? I mean, this is what the Williams is capable of. But no, yeah, he's driven absolutely superbly. 10 seconds clear, even now of the rest of the order. Dare I say, could we see a hat trick today? He's that
well,
quick. If we get a 20 reverse grids, I know where I'm putting my money.
The overtaking is going to be difficult though still, and if he does have to start behind Mangan, Foggy, McFarlane, which he's guaranteed to do if he does make it to the checkered flag, it's going to be tough overtaking them, that's for sure. But here's Mike Gray, who's had some couple of issues in this race, however still sitting in very creditable 15th place, as Thompson is well, let's see what happens here first. Ethan Bass trying to go around the outside, that's not going to work. No grip on out there, and Mike Gray keeps hold of that one very, very easily indeed. And speaking of easily, it's been very easily done by Josh Thompson, or at least it's appeared to be easy anyway, because the man from the Isle of Man's going to come through, and he's going to take the first round of the evening here in the World GT Championship on the iRacing eSports Network. Josh Thompson wins in the Audi R8. Brilliant stuff.
Pretty sure every single one of his laps were faster than everyone else's best lap. Absolutely mind-boggling from Thompson there. Are there going to be any changes in this last chicane? Doesn't look like it. I'm very close, but in the end it's Mike Horder it's getting second. Billy Fletcher, by the way, top of the Pro-Am drivers. Looks as though Lars Van Rijn is going to get 23rd place, which is insane for Van Rijn. He was down in 29th at one point, and he's got himself back up into 23rd. A couple of incidents ahead of him, but it looks like he is going to be the amateur winner, and he sure is. Carl Jacolet getting a little bit of a shove around as well from Poland. The McCaffrey in second, and Jacolet rounding out the top three in the amateur class. So well done to those guys. Hedgecock trying to recover. Oh, Jaycott's absolutely binned it, and he's had a few issues on this lap actually as Jaycott. Still got a remarkably clean car as he reverses. Sure, he had the F3 screen up there, and we'll jump behind. I believe that's Dixon just getting past him, and Timms as well.
Just to answer your question, I was just having a look at that while you were talking. Josh Thompson's worst lap was a 158.5, and the best lap of the closest person to him, who was Nico Foggy, 159.08.
Wow.
So Thompson's worst lap, half a second faster than anybody else's best lap, and unbelievable consistency as well, Sam. Fastest lap was a 58.2, slowest lap was a 58.6, we'll call. But to do 11 laps of the Suzuka circuit within 0.3 of a second of each other, he's absolutely. I'm not sure if I've ever seen all of those things in one race.
We know that he's quick, but that's properly top the best of the best class, isn't it? I mean, I think there's only a handful of sim races in the world you could go faster than that.
And for those who think I might be exaggerating a little bit, the level of driver in this field is fantastic. I mean, Oscar Mangan is was a world championship driver in the Formula One cars. Nico Foggy's a former world GT champion. Ross McFarlane is brilliant in touring cars, GTs, and everything. These guys do not hang about, and Thompson has destroyed them. And there might be a few people wanting to go back to the drawing board, I tell you, when it comes to next week, Sam, because they've got some work to do.
Absolutely. Well, they've got to be quick. They've got to figure it out for race 2, which is going on in like 10 minutes' time. So, best of luck for that one.
And we're going to see who's going to be on pole then any second now, because Sam Kumo is going to have the reverse grid wheel ready. In fact, after we've read out the results, so I'll do that. Josh Thompson wins the race by 10 seconds over Oscar Mangan, with Nico Foggy in third, Ross McFarlane in fourth, fifth for Billy Fletcher, sixth for Michael Evdocker, seventh Lewis Bibby, eighth for Pete Harrod, ninth for Mark Fletcher, 10th for Ben Palmer, and 11th for Mike Horder. Nick Madsen is 12th, ahead of George McClay, with Richard Warmingham in 14th, Mike Gray in 15th, Ethan Bass 16th, Dan McCauley in 17th, and 18th Michael Blake. Matt Bunn 19th and 20th was Mark Woodhouse, Stephen Burke 21st, 22nd for Tom Jacobs, 23rd for Lars van Rijn, who appears won the AM category. I'm going to have to check that. Simon Underhill 24th, 25th for Stephen McCaffrey, 26th for Carl Jacquelet, Kevin Bolland 28th, Bolland 27th, Field 28th, John Aegis in 29th, Dennis Melcher in 30th, Adam Hedgecock in 31st, then Chris Coughlin and Dean Thames in 33rd. Nathan Dixon 34th, ahead of Chaz Draycott, we saw him going off at the end. John Roberts 36th, Pete Newman 37th, Andy Shield, we saw what happened to him, and Ben Gregory. And then, Shield is the first car just plus one lap. And then all the people who retired, Gregory, Carl Moore, and then Max Bird, Craig Jones, Ash Beard, Kieran Chung, Carl Hardy, Matt Draycott, Taylor Lane, Jack Hills, and Harry Wills. And Sam, if we have a full, it will be Andy Shield. But I tell you, these guys will be praying for the big reverse grid, won't they?
I'm not sure do we have a full on this wheel? I think the maximum we have is like 30 or something, which is a shame. Matt Bunn, what are you playing at? Shield is the first guy. Maybe we do have a full available, but no, a few of these AMs could benefit massively. It could divide the amateur class in about half if we get about 30, so it could be pretty big for that championship, what we get coming up.
Well, and we'll see what that is. So over to Sam Kumo, who has the reverse grid wheel. He can probably tell us what the biggest number is on there.
Yeah, there is on the screen, and as far as I can tell, the biggest number is... it is 30.
Okay.
So it won't be full.
So yeah, give it a spin, see what we get.
Yep, we are spinning. I did notice that we have two, which I believe are no reverse at all.
Wow.
Ah, okay. Interesting.
And well, guess what? It is 30.
30 then, and that will be Dennis Melcher then. So him
Oh.
going the wrong way, Sam, has provided him with an opportunity for a win. So we'll see if he can get that done. He'll have John Aegis alongside him. They made contact in that race, of course. Kevin Bolland and Carl Jacquelet will share row 2, and Stephen McCaffrey and Simon Underhill will share row 3. So don't go anywhere. If you want to see what a Ford GT on pole at Suzuka looks like in 2020, come back after the break and we'll find out. Welcome back to the World GT Championship here on the iRacing eSports Network. We're at the Suzuka circuit in Japan. Andrew Woodhouse, Sam Fitzpatrick and Sam Kumo bringing you all the action from Apex Racing TV. And this championship sponsored by Pure Sim as well, as you can see on the screen. And Sam, well, we've got a 30-car reverse grid around the circuit where overtaking, it's not impossible, but sometimes you have to get a bit rough and ready with the opposition. Could be interesting, this one.
It could be. I thought that Josh Thompson might be in with a chance of the triple today. Anyone who didn't watch race one, he had pretty much a second over every single drive, but starting down in 30th place, even for a man of his talents, this will be tricky. But watch out for him, and watch out for all the top guys. Championship is on the line, so could be a fun one. Yeah,
Thompson will be looking to try and insert himself into the championship picture, and a couple more good results today could certainly do that. 16th in the championship, and for those wondering how he's 16th in the championship, because he changed cars. Started off in the BMW, moved to the Audi, and the rules of this series dictate that you do get a penalty if you change vehicle during the proceedings. Dennis Melcher on pole. Then in the 4GT, as we mentioned, John Aegis in second, Simon Field third, Kevin Bolland fourth, Carl Jacquelet fifth, Stephen McCaffrey sixth, seventh for Simon Underhill, Lars Van Rijn in eighth, Tom Jacobs ninth, and Steve Burke 10th, 11th Mark Woodhouse, 12th Matt Bunn, Michael Blake 13th, 14th Dan McCauley, 15th Ethan Bass, 16th is Mike Gray, then Richard Warmingham is 17th, 18th is George McClay, then it's Nick Madsen in 19th and Mike Horder in 20th. You see the rest of the grid cycling through on the screen there. Race 1 winner Josh Thompson, as Sam was saying, is in 30th place alongside Oscar Mangan. And we're going to see what's going to happen now. Sam, as they're coming into the final chicane.
Yep, and watch out for those top AM drivers. You can see them 4 managed to get within the reverse grid, which was pretty fortunate of them. So how can those guys score points? Could be a fantastic day for them if they can stay up in the top 20.
Pretty quick guys there as well, those AM drivers. AM in title only, really. What can Dennis Melcher do? He needs to get a good jump. He has indeed. So he's away as the green flag flies out at Suzuka. Round 2 of the evening. Ford looking pretty handy in a straight line against the BMW there. Even with a full slipstream, John Aegis, the Maltese driver, can't really get anywhere near him. So Melcher leads into 1, followed by Aegis, then it's Field, then it's Kevin Bolland, then it's Stephen McCaffrey.
Yeah, McCaffrey gaining 1 place past Jacquelet, no changes in the top.
Oh.
Underhill's been falling down the order. That livery looks great, but it's not helping him down the straights. He's down 3 places. Oh, a little bit of a shove. Not sure who that was in contact with. It was quite loud. I'm sure all the viewers heard that one as they all negotiate their way through. Josh Thompson's up 3 places. He's got past Boggy, McFarlane, and Magnan already.
And they were the ones that were going to be difficult to get past. That's, the most difficult to get past. If he is indeed going to try and take a triple here today. I would have thought that they would have been the ones. Oh, McCaffrey! Oh. He's in the middle of the course, and that's Madsen. Oh, I don't know what he could do there, really. Madsen, oh, he's coming back in the middle. Oh, big one. Oh, that's a big one. That's Draycott and possibly Timms. Let's have a look on board with Madsen. He sees the car. Doesn't really seem to make a great deal of attempt to avoid it, but
I don't know. There was a car.
Was there someone alongside him?
There was a car to his side. However, you would think the brake pedal would be of all the options.
The brake pedal would have been a wonderful option.
It would have been a fantastic option. And he did
and here comes John Aegis into the lead. Melcher is getting attacked here by Field. Oh, Dennis round the outside in the second part of the chicane. Good work there. A good battle this between Field and Dennis Melcher. John Aegis, the Maltese, then getting away into a good lead, actually. It's over a second already. Simon Field getting into P2, completing the move. Kevin Bolland in the BMW is in 4th position. And it's Steve Burke in the Team Lizard Motorsport Mercedes.
Doc has apparently gone off the track, but he's back on the track now. I think that was down at turn 1. There is HRAR. Who is that? I'm not Hardy, of course. There's Harrod and Hardy, too many of them. But that was Hardy on that occasion, saying back to the pit, so unfortunate for him. We'll go actually do a little bit of a rundown on who has taken back to the pit. So it's Hardy, McCaffrey, who was at the start of all that, Madsen, who was the one into it. Oh, Mark Fletcher! Well, if there's a crash, Mark Fletcher is in the crash, and it's not usually his fault. That's kind of been the rule from the past month or so in this championship. And
I feel like they were.
Well.
I feel like those guys were quite lucky that. Oh, there's a spinner at the hairpin. It's great. So Mike Gray for XVR Sim Racing dropping down the order. He's won races in this series. I feel like those guys were. Well, the guys at the front are pretty lucky because I reckon if that crash had happened any further up the field, it may have needed a safety car situation, Sam, because the track could well have been completely blocked for quite some time. And also, could have been, well, there was 1/4 of the field pretty much involved. It could have been much worse.
Certainly could have been, yeah. Last time Ryan, by the way, just had a spin on the inside. Top of the amateur drivers in race 1. He has gone down, though. 22 places in this race.
Going at least.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look like he's got any damage, although that's not what we said for Oscar Mangan.
And McFarlane, I think, as well.
And there he takes to the, well, you got to be careful with the rejoin like that. Not maybe the smartest thing he's ever done, but he managed to avoid any contact. He's got a slow down penalty for cutting the course, of course. Foggy then with Lewis Bibby behind him. Not a terrific start for Foggy, I will say. He's usually stronger in the later rounds, the later races, sorry. The later laps. Well, I meant he's usually quite kind to the tyres, so usually see him coming into his own in the middle of the race and see if he can put a gap between he and Lewis Bibby and indeed chase down Pete Harrod's 18th place.
Blake has dropped off. We are about to come across him. I believe he is down to 15th. He has got back going though, as Blake. By the way, Thompson's up into 13th, which is
yeah.
He's 7 seconds.
Oh, contact!
Oh, that's playing clumsy. Very clumsy.
Yeah, Blake's into Harrod. Oh, sorry, Palmer. Sorry, and then Harrod goes through. But yeah, it wasn't the most wonderful piece of driving I've ever seen. As the Ferrari nearly hits him.
That's Jones just arriving on the scene. Might get a replay of what happened to Blake in the first place. So this is actually Thompson then, coming up to the back of him. I saw Thompson make an incredible round the outside move at this point. Well, that's a bit.
Oh, Thompson touches him.
Yeah, that was ambitious, brave, bold,
I think,
stupid potentially.
You've got to be careful in a corner like that. Taking a one, very fast corner. I mean, I'd argue that it's and then he just misses his braking point. Wasn't anything malicious or anything like that. Just looked like it was a bit of a fumble, really. Here comes Thompson, then he's trying to get into the top 10 already. My goodness me, the rest of them could well be doomed as this man charges on. And I would have said to you actually, Sam, if you'd have told me maybe a year and a half ago that would Josh Thompson get this second race won, I would have told you absolutely not, because he'll crash someone off in the middle of the race or he'll go off himself. This Josh Thompson though, this new version, the 2020 version, wow, knife through butter. That was Macaulay, and Macaulay doesn't hang around, and he was absolutely just eviscerated, and the same thing's going to happen to Jacqueline very soon. Oh my goodness, well that's a bad move. He moved across, did Jacqueline? I'm not sure. I don't know whether he had the space or not. Well, something bad happened.
I don't know about that one. The stewards will certainly look at it.
I will make it clear, I'm not blaming Carl Jacqueline for that one. I don't really know what. It all happened very quickly. I didn't expect it, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a strange one. It's tricky in that situation well because you've got a corner and it's so narrow because you're going to a very tight corner as
And
well afterwards.
you've got to position yourself through the Dunlop curve in these GT cars. It's not like an F1 car where it sticks to the road in such a fashion that you automatically place yourself on the left-hand side. With these cars, sometimes it's a bit of a struggle. Thompson absolutely flashing the lights at Kevin Bolland. And very wisely not going for a move into 130R. There'll definitely be a move into the hairpin, there's absolutely no question. There he goes.
Lost a little bit of time then behind Bolland, but apart from that, he barely had to move off his racing line to overtake the first 3 cars in the first half of the lap.
8 seconds off the lead. 8 seconds off the lead with 12 minutes remaining. Fastest lap, Nico Foggy, 2 minutes .56 this time.
They're lapping much slower now than they were in race 1. The track's a lot warmer, I believe. Remember how Thompson was in the 58s earlier on, and even
Stephen Burke has got up into 3rd place. Sorry to interrupt yourself.
Yes. Oh, there's this Melcher on the inside.
Melcher hits him.
That was Melcher really slowing down ahead of Jacobs. He now loses out to Woodhouse, and Thompson's, even for him, he's got nowhere to go. The track is completely blocked. However, Thompson will be able to go around the outside here. Will he even go down the inside of Woodhouse? That was very close, Woodhouse.
Oh, that's Holland.
Yep.
And there go the cuds, absolutely scattering everywhere. People are going to... Oh, he's bold, and that's the second of the team, man, BMWs, that he's nearly touched, or has touched, going through Degner 1. I'm sure Woodhouse isn't going to be too happy about it, but there's not a lot he can do. He's been hit by Jacobs, and there goes he, and there goes Macaulay, and in the middle of the hairpin, stuck there is Woodhouse. There's not a great deal he can do either to move from there. Does get going at last. Down to 27th place, he's not going to be happy about that. Seeing a bit of careless driving at the hairpin, I will say that. Oh, and more bad driving there. There's more contact between Fletcher and Andy Shield, isn't it? Oh no, it's not Shield. It's Ethan Bass, isn't it? Andy Shield just can't seem to get out of people's way. They seem to be interfering in his business left, right, and centre.
Yeah, he's involved in a lot of this.
Oh, this is the one we want to see.
Again, defending against Thompson.
He's giving everything, he's Melcher.
You can almost see his feet underneath the car, pushing it along.
I want to see him defend this. I want to see a defence. Oh, he's going to go for it. Oh, my word. Pretty easy in the end, didn't it? I'm not. I keep going on about Thompson, right? And this is what everybody needs to understand who's watching the broadcast here today. Josh Thompson doesn't turn up to these races every single week and blow everybody away. It's a very close championship, and it is a very, very tight field. And last week, as Sam mentioned at the very, very top of the broadcast, if you were here, Oscar Mangan took pole by over half a second. This is not by this race meeting. Sam is as close to an absolute anomaly, a complete outlier as you can find in the World GT Championship. I've never seen somebody turn up to one race meeting and be as fast as this.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
You've covered most of it. I've covered probably 5 out of the 7 seasons. You've probably covered the rest of them that I've not done. I mean, have you ever seen it?
No, not that I can recall. And of course, Thompson, has he ever won this championship? I'm sure if he actually ever has.
I don't think he has. I might be wrong on that one. I'm not sure. Sam might be able to tell us about them.
So I remember he lost out to Foggy, I think, in season 4, which was pretty close. But he's always thereabouts. And this season, I mean, whilst he did get the penalty, I think even without the penalty, I don't think he'd necessarily be top. So yeah, it is absolutely incredible. Here is Melcher. Come on, Macaulay. Bonus points on offer here, mate. Go round the outside, flats out, off the line.
Oh! He went for the points!
That was an awful idea. An absolutely awful idea.
Who on earth would ever suggest that? Put some barbarism going on out there. As you can see, look at the state of Mike Holder's car as well. You can see there's damage to the front of the Mercedes as Underhill and Bunn doing their best Bunn and McClay doing their best to nearly take each other out into the chicane. Oh no! Dear me.
Oh, that's close as well. Behind that was who's that trying to get past Harrod?
I will say it's great action. It's great action, Sam.
Definitely. I've seen some questionable driving, but for the most part, it's been pretty good.
Oh yeah. I mean, to be fair, you don't have 40 odd cars, 50 cars in a field, and not see some questionable driving at some stage. But it does add to the drama, and it does add to the intrigue. Lewis Bibby sees this chain of cars in front of him, and he sees one thing: opportunity. There's places to be gained here for Bibby. He's already gained 11 of them.
Well, I think
Sorry, yeah.
Might get Melcher. They were really close into the hairpin. I thought he might have a go. Foggy is he passing with Bunn? But Bunn's got a better exit, I think, on the outside.
Yeah, there goes Matt Bunn. There goes the BMW. He's on the inside as well, which bizarrely does actually matter in these cars, really. You do want to be on the inside there if you can. You don't really want to get out into the marbles on the exit of, say, Spoon Curve or certainly 130i. You also don't want to go up to the grass, as we saw from Macaulay. Now, this is for the lead. Simon Field, former Thursday night touring car race winner, several times, in fact. John Aegis, who has done a really good job in this series so far, I think, in the races he's been at. I don't think he's been at all of them.
We've got only 3 laps to go. Because the times have been so slow because of the warmer weather, it means that we're not going to quite get that extra lap. So, good news for these guys, because they're slower. We've got 3 laps to go. 5 seconds.
Oh, what's this?
We'll catch in time.
It's a slowdown for Bibby, and he's dropped right to the back, and there's pushing and shoving in turn 1. And Underhill goes wide. Manages to keep it, flashing the lights at McClay. He's not happy about that one. Not happy with the Scotsman. But they go on anyway. Melcher still grimly hanging on to the 6th place, doing a great job. Genuinely a very good job, Sam, I think, in a car which is woefully outdated. We're not just talking a couple of years old here, we're talking over 10 years old, this car now, I think.
Well, before my time, certainly.
I mean, before you were born, the way it looks out there at the moment. I think, I was going to say that,
Bun's gone off, that's
that
5 places lost.
Yeah, we'll hold that thought as Foggy has a dive on Underhill. Around the outside, gets a great drive off the corner though. Perfect exit by the Mercedes. He's going to get a bit of slipstream from McClay as well. Going to help him pass the Audi, so terrific stuff by Foggy. He's up to 9th place. Foggy has done a great job as well. Started in 28th position. Thompson 4 seconds off the lead. Sam but lapping 2 seconds a lap quicker. Oh my goodness.
Credit to Simon Field, we saw him bump drafting a Juice just a moment ago, because if they start fighting, then Thompson will be on them comfortably. 2 laps to go.
I see Raikkonen and Fisichella all over again.
He'll catch, but as my Walker says, he'll pass.
Well, I still am a big fan of Giancarlo Fisichella, so you can imagine that 2005 race. He's not one that I love to recall too often. Andy Shields had a problem, I think, dropping down the order. Oscar Mangan as well, so I wonder if there's been a crash between the two. And it wouldn't surprise me if Andy Shield was minding his own business and go, oh dear! And there it goes completely, and I think it's knackered.
At least he's crossed the line, so he'll finish 2 laps down.
Yeah, no points though. 2 laps down. Let's see. Out of the chicane he goes. Spins. And Mangan's going to have nowhere to go.
That is rare that Shield would make that mistake. Got onto a little bit of a divot, didn't he? Just off the circuit. I've seen a few of these top drivers. I recall Fletcher spinning earlier on. We saw a couple of others as well making mistakes today. It's a tricky circuit, this.
what we can see here, Sam, is that you can tell that Simon Field is maybe getting a little more animated inside his car. He's really pushing hard now because I think he knows he needs to put a car between he and Josh Thompson. If the very experienced Irishman, I'm not calling him old, he's certainly not old, but he has a lot of iRacing experience. If he is going to be able to get through. Now, John Aegis, of course, from the country of Malta. There was a big Maltese contingent in this series just last season. And the KC Racing eSports guys, oh, wow. Carried a lot of speed into 130R that time, did Field.
Now, Field is going to be susceptible to the overtake into turn one. You know, Thompson, he's not in the championship hunt. He will go for it if there
He wants to go for the championship, though, doesn't he? He knows that race wins are going to be his ticket to the showdown.
The Field might be close enough for him, himself. Here he goes, down the inside into turn one. Will these top two take each other out?
Oh, yes, they have! Oh, they've hit Thompson!
And they've made contact, and Thompson's
down!
And he's not going to get the double. And who else can get involved? Burke will close in. Thompson's going to still in third. And after all that, no changes. But Thompson, well, he went too quick, didn't he? He didn't have to go for that. All he needs to do was get one of them and get the other one later on. But he went for both of them right there, and it was too much.
I do think that there was... I mean, I think you have to go for it, surely, at that point. It did open up. He did open up for it.
Got both of them regardless, I feel. I think he could have... He would have got...
well, they'd already hit each other, so he couldn't make that choice.
Yeah.
If he was a 2 seconds behind, and that would have happened, I would wholeheartedly agree with you, I think. But... Or if one of them had made a mistake and then he tried to go for the other one. Because they were both off, that space was there. And that's not going for an imaginary gap. That was a full couple of cars' widths that just kind of closed on him. And you say he's not going to do the double. Well, we don't know the state of those cars in front of him because the gap is not a large one, Sam. And I know we're in the final sector. I know it's very, very unlikely that anything will go down. But those cars can't be in perfect condition after the contact.
Yeah,
we're going to see him on the back straight for the last time, surely.
Field dropped off a juice, so I think he might be struggling a bit, but the BMW looks strong. And, well, he certainly deserves this, does the Maltese driver, and he's been leading pretty much from start to finish. Looks like he's going to take this race win.
Yeah, very calmly into the chicane then for the final time. And John Aegis then coming across and takes the win in round 2 of the evening in the World GT Championship from second place on the grid. And he flashes the lights, he weaves away in jubilation. Simon Field, a great second place. And Josh Thompson, third.
Oh,
could have been for him, but he's still going to be happy with third and a little bit of the money.
Underhill's lost, I think, about 10 places in the last chicane, which is not good for him. McFarlane as well has got involved. I was made to start across the line. May have lost a place to Gregory. Gained 19 places in the end. Well done to Gregory.
It's not quite as bad as that for Underhill. It might be... I think it might be 3 or 4 places, but... See how it's happened. Oh, it's contact with Melcher. Oh, and then he's come on and he's hit the BMW. He's hit the Mercedes of Bibby.
And then, yeah.
So 3 places lost, it looks like.
Well, yeah, he was behind, Melcher, so yeah, it was in 10th place and ends up in 14th, does Underhill. So here comes Hills, limping that car across, or what is left of it at least.
Oh, wow, yeah.
The damage model can't come soon enough, although doesn't look too bad. That looks decently reversed. Of course, next damage model, there'll be a few detachable parts, but of course iRacing had to go through each individual car for these GT3s, which was a bit of a pain to have to do, but hopefully build.
They'll break apart in different ways. It was an astonishing F3 crash actually in the also in the not top 10 highlights. You can tell I was doing it, and where it must have been half the field absolutely just wiped out in one crash, wheels flying everywhere, and just a monocoque left in a couple of occasions. That shows how much effort iRacing have put into the damage model on all the cars. And yeah, it'd be great when it comes to the GTs as well. Results on the screen.
Yes, and it's John Juice who wins out 8/10 of a second clear of Simon Field. Josh Thompson in third place, 1.4 seconds off. But if he doesn't get he will be definitely the favourite for race 3. But the hat trick was possible for him. But yeah, just that last lap collision. Steve Burke and Mike Horder make it 4 pro-ams in the top 5. That's quite rare to happen. George McClay finished in 6th place. Nicole Boggy in 7th, so good day for them because they had 2 championship challenges, and they did outscore their championship rivals by quite a few points. Tom Jacobs, great 8th place for him. Dennis Melcher, great 9th place, defending all the way. Then was Pete Howard, Michael Avdoka, Lewis Bibby, Michael Blake, Simon Underhill, Matt Bunn, Ben Palmer, Ethan Bass, and Mark Woodhouse in 18th. Then it was Billy Fletcher, Ben Gregory, Wilson McFarlane, Mike Gray, Adam Hedgecock, Kevin Boland, who was top of the amateur drivers. So congratulations to Kevin. I think, and Lars Van Rijn, top in race 1, finished 2nd in race 2, so that's pretty good. Craig Jones was in 3rd in that category. Then it was Pete Howard, Matt Draycott in 28th, Richard Warmingham in 29th, and Chaz Draycott rounding up the top 30. Then it was Carl Moore, Ashley Beard, Jack Hills, who was the last driver, I believe, on the lead lap. Oscar Mangan was 1 lap down, along with Andy Shield, John Roberts, and then the retirees Harry Wills, Dan McCauley, Max Bird, Kieran Chung, Carl Yacolet, Nathan Dixon, and Chris Colan, Carl Hardy, Stephen McCaffrey, Nick Madsen, Mark Fletcher, and Dean Timms. A few of those ones at the bottom getting involved in that big wreck we saw on lap 2 of the race, or lap 1 of the race, just coming out of the Degness.
Yeah, it was a big one. It was a fairly decent sized pile-up, was that? And Dennis Melcher did his best, didn't he, on pole position, finished 9th in the end, and now Sam Kuma's going to bring us the wheel. We're going to find out who's going to be on pole for the final race of the day. Sam.
Yeah, the wheel is on the screen, so let's just spin it and see what we get. Will it be another big one? Not quite, it is 24.
24 is going to be
Kevin Boland, top of the AMs. Buy a lottery ticket, mate. That is great stuff. Him, Adam Hedgecock alongside him.
Hedgecock's 24th on my screen.
On my screen it says Kevin Boland is 24.
Well, it'll be one of those two then. But hey, yeah, they've definitely won the lottery on that one. Let's see who it is. Oh yeah, Kevin Boland. Weird. Very strange on my screen. It's been wrong. Never mind. But we're going to see who's going to be on pole anyway. It looks like it's going to be Kevin Boland, and we'll see them after the break here on the iRacing eSports Network when round 3 of the evening in the World GT Championship takes place. We'll see you soon. Japan. Andrew Woodhouse, Sam Fitzpatrick and Sam Kumo for Apex Racing TV. And well, Sam, race 2, it was all kinds of crazy, but we still managed to have a great battle for the victory in the last couple of laps.
It was mega close, wasn't it? Came down to the last lap of the race. We had a little bit of an incident between the top two. Thompson couldn't quite benefit from it, but once again in this race, a few different drivers who could perhaps win out, as we can see the grid up there. Can Thompson get back up there? Had a decent sized reverse grid in that race, 24 drivers reverse, so slightly smaller than race 1.
Kevin Bolland on pole, Adam Hedgecock alongside him, Mike Gray and Ross McFarlane on row 2, Ben Gregory and Billy Fletcher on row 3, Mark Woodhouse and Ethan Bass 7th and 8th, Ben Palmer and Matt Bunn 9th and 10th. Race 2 winner, well, was John Ajus, and he starts in 24th place. You can see him there at the bottom of that list. Sam, when you look down the field, is there anybody who strikes you as being the main challenger for this race victory?
I think McFarlane starts up in 4th place. McFarlane hasn't been mega quick today. I mean, he's always good, but sometimes he's got a little bit more pace than this. But he's looking pretty strong. Billy Fletcher, he finished in 5th place, I believe, in race 1.
He was still top five pace was McFarlane, though, wasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, he always is. I'm being a bit harsh to him. Ben Palmer as well, in 9th place, I believe he is starting.
You're allowed to do that because he drives for you.
Right,
so
exactly.
You're allowed to do that.
And of course, Thompson starting in 22nd, which is a whole 8 places higher up than he did last time, so he will be very strong as well. But this is important. McFarlane, if he wants to win this race, he's got to get up in the lead straight away.
Yeah, very important for likes of Mark Fletcher to come back and get some good points as well. He's starting near the back in 44th, but here we go. Kevin Bolland then takes the green flag. We're underway here at Suzuka for another 20 minutes around this brilliant circuit. Look at this battle for second though into turn 1. Adam Hedgecock coming under real pressure from Mike Gray. There's not a space there really for Gray to go into. McFarlane, as you mentioned, with a strong start going around the outside of Gray then in turns 1 and 2. And he's now pursuing Adam Hedgecock, who had a great meeting a couple of rounds ago. 3 positions around the top 10, but maybe struggling on the raw pace today. McFarlane very, very close to him. He really needs to try and manufacture a move soon if he wants to get off after Kevin Bolland. Bolland leads already by 1.3 seconds.
McFarlane looking every which way into the Degners, not usually an overtaking spots. We have seen Thompson make a few moves there so far, but not all of them were the cleanest of moves. Here comes McFarlane again. He so wants to get past.
Whoa!
Looks to the inside.
Oh, he's lost it.
Stops. He will go to the inside. Now, we will not be happy about that
one.
Oh,
close to the hairpin. It's
Bibby.
Oh, Blake riding up on Thompson, and there goes
another team man.
Blake and Woodhouse hitting each other.
Oh, Thompson as well, yeah.
Bit of a mess at the hairpin. Bit of a mess. And I didn't see, there's broken suspension for one of the Team Mad cars as well. Oh, Mike Gray off. That's a spoon. Goodness only knows what happened to Mike Gray.
He's a long way off the track.
Oh, Macaulay off, and one of the Sim Sports Racing cars, I think, off. Oh no, it's Carl Jacquelet in the Year 1 Racing.
So the only driver who towed back was Michael Blake from all of that, but everyone else.
Yeah, broken suspension for Blake. He tried to turn into the next corner, couldn't do it.
Foggy's up 7 places then. Pete Harris up 8 places.
Farland's going for the lead here, Sam.
Yep, around the outside I think he is at the moment of Kevin Boland through turn 1, and Boland backs out of that. So yeah, up into the lead then. Billy Fletcher coming with him as well. Billy Fletcher's got past Hedgecock recently.
Oh yeah, that's a brave move.
Underhill continuing his bad form from or his bad end of race 2. It's on Horder. Start of race 3.
Mike Horder there, and the 3 wide in the exit of 2. To be a little bit careful. It all started though, Sam, didn't it? All the craziness kind of began with McFarlane getting all kinds of in trouble at the hairpin. very nearly taking out Adam Hedgecock, but thankfully for both of them, they both survived and carried on.
Yeah, there was some contact. That's always a tricky area with the hairpin. And we don't actually see that many moves around there. You think in sim racing in particular, people would just send it. But I don't think, I'm always surprised how little we see because
Well,
you gotta have so much confidence that the driver ahead of you won't come across, like will take the line that you expect.
the other thing is the right-hander preceding it. He's a lot tighter than I think a lot of people think. And there's not a lot of room. It's a very narrow piece of circuit here. As now you can see Foggy and Jacobs. That's he almost squeezed Foggy out onto the grass. There's almost two moves there. It's a big one for Foggy. He's going to be out of the race surely. A huge crash. And Foggy is out of this race in the World GT Championship at Suzuka. Oh, and off there. Simon Field being pushed wide by Lewis Bibby that time.
Archer picks up the paces. Look at Juice as well. He's up in 14th places. John Juice, he's up as many places as Steve Burke. Those two both up 10 places. And he's
it looks, Sam, on the face of it, that Jacobs might have made two moves. And there goes Warmingham and Simon Field having a crash in 130R. And there's somebody else diving up the inside to the hairpin. That is the first sighting for a while of Stephen McCaffrey. And he's up past Ashbeard and into 29th place. Oh, Dennis Melcher! Oh, there's only one way that's going to end, and that's going to be in the tyre barrier. Oh dear.
Melcher was making some good places. He was up into, I think it's 15th behind a Juice. Now he's outside the top 40.
I think it's broken. That is Sam. I think the suspension is potentially a bit toast.
He did hit the barrier quite square on. Oh dear, look at this. Bun and
look, do you?
Palmer is up into 5th place then.
Well, this is
look
the
at
kind
Bowden as well, up in 3rd.
This is the kind of race, mate, where I'm quite happy I'm not doing the cameras actually, because that is cause it's very difficult to find the best action because there's so much of it going on. You're right, Bolland has got back up into the top 3 then, as McFarlane sets the fastest lap and extends his lead. Well, sort of extends the lead. It's only 0.3 of a second, but here we go. Hedgecock versus Harrod into Spoon Curve. Hedgecock's late on the brakes. He takes the inside line. It's very difficult to go around the outside in Spoon because of the marbles, and that does prove effective defence for Hedgecock, but only temporarily as Harrod is on the prowl.
Bonus points up for grabs again, but he's actually behind, so that would be very tricky. Sideways.
Bolland's going for the.
Oh, and off is
Hedgecock.
Hedgecock. He was kind of 3rd in that pack. 2 by 2, they go into the chicane, the Casio Triangle.
Well, I wouldn't recommend this as a personal hygiene measure given the current climate, but the gloves are most certainly off in this one.
3 wide into 1 just ahead of us.
There's a giant moth flies in front of my computer screen, obscuring the view of the circuit. And here is Chris Coughlin and Nick Madsen have come to blows at the chicane, and that's Van Ryn and Hedgecock again. And that's turn 1, is it?
That was
the final corner. Sorry, that's the final corner. What's going on here, Sam?
Unfortunately, I can't see this one, but Josh Thompson gets involved in something. And then getting back going with the year 1 car just behind him. It's never simple for Josh Thompson, is it? You can never have 3 clean races. And of course, in this race, I don't think either incident has been his fault so far. Just tries to recover as fast as he can get.
He got mounted by a Team Madcard, didn't he, at the hairpin, and that really kind of, I think he very sportingly actually didn't just try and drive straight through the car for fear of more damage, I imagine. But points are important for Thompson at this stage of the championship. He's not got, he still needs to make up quite a few. It's Chaz Draycott. No, it's not Chaz Draycott. It's Pete Newman inside of John Ages, and McClay's coming through as well.
Yep, and Mangan
Oh,
in the. Oh, that is.
oh no, what's
guys,
going on?
no,
What
no.
are they doing?
Oh, it's totally pointless.
No, and they're in the
Oh,
middle of
just
the track
behind.
and there's another spinner and that's... Oh, what a bloody mess.
That was extremely avoidable from both drivers who
Massively
are
avoidable.
merging into one another. Carl Moore, unlucky fixing from that. Mike Gray, I don't know if he got involved in something afterwards.
I don't know what's gone on in the break between races 2 and 3, Sam, but I don't really want any of it, really, because it's it's turned into absolute madness, this one.
So Oscar Mangan's now 21 places gained.
Where's
Mark
he?
Fletcher's
Oh, 40.
29 places gained. From way down. Max Bird's 20 places. 40th on the grid. There we go. Sam Kuma showing why he is paid twice as much as us to compare. With the.
I bet he's having a good laugh at that one.
He's probably thinking, come on, Sam, a little bit higher than that. Come on, mate.
Fletcher. Mark Fletcher, well, he leads the championship. He's trying to get more points by going through. He's gone through on the McClay there, and that's actually on the. He's gone through on the second place man in the championship. So important stuff. But it doesn't look like McClay can really fight him. He's got damage as the Scotsman.
Yeah, McClay will do well to finish in the top 20. So will still be decent points for McClay, I think, today. Finished 6th, I think, in race 2, and then race 1. Race 1, I think he got like 5th, dare I say. So actually, might be one of the highest point scorers from today. Pete Harrod, a little word for Pete Harrod, because he is in 3rd place, I believe, in the championship. We never talk about Pete Harrod, but again,
We always talk about Pete Harrod.
he's going to become possibly the highest point scorer. Again, a little bit under our noses, because he's kind of 5th or 6th fastest, but finishes every race and backs up the points. So once again, he's going to be looking very good in the championship as a queue is forming behind Ethan Bass.
Yes, and well, Bass needs to be careful here. That he doesn't become a victim of the freight train, which can so often happen at a place like Suzuka. If you get offline, the moves can come. Oscar Mangan looks like he's making a move in the background on Pete Newman. Or having a go at least, trying to make a move on the BSRTC race winner. Mangan, very good young driver, through into 12th place.
The barbecue is back. So
we're grilling tonight.
Absolutely. Evdotka just ahead of Mangan did set the fastest up of the race a few laps ago with a 59.0.
It means if anybody gets up close and personal to him, we can say they're right up in his grill.
Oh, lovely. Absolutely lovely.
You could cook your steak on the diffuser. You get some nice char marks on that.
I'm sure it would taste lovely. That's essence of petrol.
They did that once, didn't they? On was it Top Gear or something like that?
I think,
cooked an egg.
didn't they fry an
egg on the engine, and he said it tasted like petrol. Lewis Bibby up into the 6th place there, ahead of Kevin Bolland.
Yeah, Bolland's starting to lose a few more places. Next up, Harris, who will be passing straight away. Gregory, he's having a much better race. Had a good race too, actually, for Gregory. Gained loads of places after a tricky race 1. Looks like he'll score big as well.
Gregory Gregory was doing all right. I think he got caught up. Was he caught up in that nonsense at Degner? I think he was, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
I think he got taken out in that one. Let's have a think. Oh, he's going for the big send. Look at this. Oh, that's lovely.
Oh, I had to leave Bolland's space on the exit though, which has compromised his exit. And now through comes Michael Evdotka as well, and Evdotka might go past his teammate as well. All going on now.
And look at the other Texan Spitfire car, Jacobs. And Oscar Mangan.
Mangan trying to get Bolland. Needs to try to get him before the S's because otherwise he'll lose quite a bit of time. And Bolland might stay ahead of Jacobs, which is bad news for Tom.
Well, that is the freight train, Sam, that we were talking about, and they've come together and they've crashed. Bolland into the wall. I don't know where Jacobs went. I think he's still going, but
Oh, Jones is going to get past for the lead.
Bond looked like he might have been stuck there. He didn't look like he could quite get going, but dropping down the order nevertheless. Gregory has now got the task of keeping Oscar Mangan behind. The lead up front is 0.8 of a second between Ross McFarlane in the McLaren and Billy Fletcher in the Audi. That's Texas Fitzdie versus CQR Sim Sports on that one. As here's Oscar Mangan, the privateer, going up against Ben Gregory. Gregory is a veteran of iRacing, been at this a long time. It's at least 6 years since I've been covering Ben Gregory's races. It's when he was driving in the BSRTC on a controller, I believe. Or Team O, I think he won the AM category on a controller.
Yeah, there's been I think I've only ever commentated on one driver who's been like openly on a controller. It doesn't seem to happen as much as it used to. Look at the overseas.
Oh, I did it. I used to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to the World Cup of iRacing final on a controller. Back in the day. 2012 or so.
I assume UK and I finished second in that, as we always do. Literally.
I can't remember actually where we finished, but I only crashed because one of the other English drivers spun off, and it was on an oval, and I might have hit the wall as a result.
For UK and I always finish behind Germany or Finland.
It's always Diach. Always Diach. It's always
Diach.
Finland.
Silly Diach. And then Finland with their like 5 members, and 4 of them are World Championship drivers. Absolute pain.
Oh, there goes Newman. He got a real wiggle on, didn't he, there? And somehow, Josh Thompson, by the way, I can just point out, Josh Thompson's up to 19th. I don't know how, really, but
18th.
Because every time I've seen him off the track. Or crashed or something. Somehow, such is his pace. Well, he's just done the fastest lap of the race, Sam, would you believe?
Yeah, 2/10 faster than the race leader, quarter of a second faster than the race leader. Where could he get back up to? So he could get 15th. We'll probably get to Mark Woodhouse because he's only 2 seconds ahead, but then beyond that I think would be tricky for him. Looks as though we're going to get 2 more laps after this one, aren't we? So yeah, will be another 10-lap race. Race 1 was 11 laps because because he was so quick. Thompson basically forced an extra lap.
So that's true. Ross McFarlane leading the way. He's actually pulled out a good lead in the last couple of laps, McFarlane. He was only 6/10 ahead 2 or 3 laps ago, but he's pulled it out, and it's 1.4 seconds now, so 1.5 seconds and 1.6 seconds as McFarlane's had a very, very good chicane. And gained 3/10 just there.
58.8, 6/10 faster on that lap.
Has Fletcher got a bit of damage that we can't maybe see? Because all of a sudden he doesn't seem to be able to handle the pace set by the Scotsman Ross McFarlane.
Yeah, that was a strange lap because he's been kind of, I think he's.
Oh, it says Josh Thompson's crashed.
Oh no, that's a curse. Oh, he's all right now. Oh, slow down.
I must have missed the. Well, he might have missed the chicane. There's 2 or 3 places lost for him though. Lost out to Beard and Bird.
Bird's still driving very well.
Oh yeah, Max Bird. Should we? Oh, Chaz Draycott's upside down. Oh dear. And that's at 130R. He's had all sorts of fun there, Sam, hasn't he?
Jacobs had a pretty frustrating day. I can't see this, unfortunately. I don't know if you can.
I can't. I might be able to see the end of it, but no, I can't see it. So you just have to enjoy it on your screen, I'm afraid. Oh yeah. Dear. Poor Chaz. He turns up. You know, some days he turns up and he's got really, really great pace, and then in other races, other times he never seems to get any luck or get out of his own way. I don't really know. He's a top bloke though, top bloke, and now he'll be quite dizzy. The blood will have rushed to his head somewhat, I think.
Probably designing the trailer for next season in this championship. I see.
Oh, he was doing that while he was upside down. Yeah, that's what he was doing.
Exactly, yeah. He was thinking, this would be a really nice shot to add.
He'll put it in now.
He's committed. He's really committed. Credit to him.
Here's Pete Harrod, and he's having a look at Ethan Bass in this what has become a surreal race 3. Let's be honest, in this World GT Championship. I've really loved it though. I'm not gonna say it's bad. I've definitely enjoyed it. There's been some suspect driving, but hey, it's been a lot of fun to call, certainly.
Yeah, certainly all day long has been good. Suzuka once again delivering. Safe to say it's not it's a circuit that can cause issues. I think this. However, I think the great thing about these circuits is that even if the racing isn't perfect, the drivers are still absolutely loving, I'm sure, doing these laps, which is something that often we kind of forget when it comes to a lot of the races. Not all about just the event. That's how much fun the drivers have, and I'm sure they're absolutely loving pounding around these S's lap after lap right now.
Yeah, I love the GTs around here. I managed to take a win in the official series last time I was here, and it's a great place. I must admit, it's not my favourite circuit in terms of historically how I've done, but yeah, seemingly in iRacing it tends to agree with me. Thompson and Ash Beard. Now this will be a tough one for Thompson to go around the outside in Degner 1. Oh, there's a bit of contact as there really wasn't enough space there. Thompson goes off across Degner 2. He goes. That'll be a slow down penalty. As that's another place for Bird. Ferrari goes up into 17th, and that Ferrari is what I was driving around here. It is very good around Suzuka. I will say that.
I think that's the 3rd time Bird has overtaken Thompson, or at least 2nd time that he has. This is the last lap. No.
It is. Last corner. Oh no, it's not. We're gonna get one more lap.
One more. Yeah, the lap time's been way better in this because they're lapping about 2 seconds faster than in the last race, and it's meant that with 7 seconds to go, we have got 1 extra lap. So I did not expect that. 11 lap race we've got.
I think the astonishing thing about Thompson's speed today is just the traction he seems to get off every corner, especially the medium speed corners. That Audi just pulling wonderfully well in, say, 2nd and 3rd gear. Up the inside. And that's a clean move there. And Josh Thompson up into 17th place. We've seen a little bit more of the old swashbuckling Josh Thompson in the last couple of races. As round the... Well, I don't know if that's Shield. I think that is Shield trying to overtake Steve Burke, but I'm not certain on that. What was the last lap between them? Oh yeah, Shield 159.6. So he was 6/10 quicker than Burke on the previous lap. You can see how strung out this race is actually just by looking at the track map. Leaders are nearly at Spoon Curve, and the back of the field just coming over the start-finish line.
Yeah, don't usually get this big split. At Daytona, it was remarkable how far away the top 7 or 8 drivers were within the first 20 minutes of the event.
Manga trying to get a cutback on Ethan Bass. Can he get this one done? He should be able to get this one done rather comfortably, I think. Oscar Mangan into Spoon. The inside Bass doesn't give him as much room as Mangan would have liked. But there he goes anyway. And meanwhile, at the front, Ross McFarlane. Well, you said he was potentially the favourite for the race, Sam, and it's come to fruition because Ross McFarlane for Texas Fitzstyle Motorsport wins here in round 3 of the day at the World GT Championship. Billy Fletcher, a brilliant 2nd place, and Ben Palmer is going to come home to receive 3rd place. Most likely, anyway. He's only 8/10 ahead of Matt Bunt. There he is, with a battered car. It's quite a lot of damaged cars out there today, Sam. It's been a bit of a battle, that race 3, hasn't it?
Bit of a war for
a war.
Matt Bunn, well done to him in 4th. Fletcher, you wouldn't know it by his pace today. I mean, I think certainly will be in the top 5 highest scores, maybe even the top 3 highest scores, Billy Fletcher. Top of the Pro Abs, And top of the amateur judge will soon be
hello.
Jones, as Bolland is trying to come back at Tim's. Remember Bolland, who was comfortably leading the amateur category, was up in the top 10
There's
on.
Dixon.
And it looks as though it's a shame that the finish line is so quick here. It should be at where the start line is. Should have a couple of nice runs.
Nathan Dixon nearly getting in on the axe. Stephen McCaffrey, Kieran Chung. That's his best race of the day. In 29th with 10 positions gained. Good drive. And yeah, just got a couple of drivers coming across. That's Jacques Alette and Adam Hedgecock. And Adam Hedgecock, who started at the front of the field, Sam. And not a happy day really for our colleague, but he's had a few very good races in in recent weeks and months that I'm sure he'll get some solace from that.
Yeah, I was commentating with him for about 8 hours yesterday, so I'm sure that has driven him to insanity. So it's impressive that he knows which way's up right now, to be honest. I mean, that's an achievement in itself. But Ross McFarlane, great drive from him. And I said at the start how if he got to the front, then that would be very important. He did get to the front. And Billy Fletcher as well pushed him, but wasn't close enough in the end. Who the highest point scorer was today, don't know. Maybe Thompson, I guess. But that 18th place in race, or 17th place in race 3 means they won't be by far the highest point scorer. There'll be a lot of drivers pretty near the front as we see the results on our screens.
Indeed, Ross McFarlane is the winner of this race then, round 3 of the day. And he takes the win over Billy Fletcher by 2.4 seconds. Ben Palmer in 3rd, Matt Bunn 4th, Lewis Bibby in 5th, and 6th for Pete Harrod. Michael Evducker in 7th with Oscar Mangan 8th, Ethan Bass 9th, Mark Fletcher in 10th. So Fletcher has had a good couple of races at least. Ben Gregory in 11th, Jacobs in 12th, Burke 13th, and Shield and Woodhouse. Beard in 16th, and Thompson, Underhill in 18th, and then Horder in 19th, and Jones in 20th. Dan McCauley 21st, ahead of Max Bird, who's one of the drivers of the race. Pete Newman in 23rd, then Field. Dean Timms in 25th, ahead of Bolland, and then Dixon. McCaffrey in 28th. Chung, as we mentioned, 29th. 30th McClay, 31st Melcher, and then Wills and Hills again together, 32nd and 33rd. John Roberts in 34th. Didn't really see much of him today. Carl Jacquelet 35th, Adam Hedgecock then 36th, then Chaz Draycott, then Michael Blake. Draycott and Blake retired, and then the retirements at the bottom will be what we got there. Matt Draycott, then you've got Gray, Ajus, Moore, Coughlin, Van Ryn, Madsen, Warmingham, Foggy, and Carl Hardy. So yeah, we saw there was, as you can see by the table there, Sam, we had that 3 or 4 lap spell where many drivers were out.
Yeah, we kind of saw a similar thing in the first half of race 2, didn't we? And then, of course, kind of calms down a little bit. But at least we didn't need a safety car today, which was all good. And
it was close, mate.
It was close. And around a narrow circle like this, it can happen quite easily. Next up is Spa, which Eau Rouge, that could be a trouble spot. But again, should be a little bit wider, I imagine, that circuit. So I don't think we'll see quite as many issues.
No, I'd say so. And Josh Thompson joins us in the commentary box. And well, Josh, first of all, can you hear us?
Yep, can hear.
Hey, well, what a qualifying lap! Fantastic lap. Was that one of the best ones you've done?
Yeah, probably. There was literally nothing left in it. I'd probably say that's probably my most perfect lap around this track as well, which was quite good.
We've not seen anybody take pole by that amount. I think in all the seasons we've done the World GT Championship, you're supremely quick out there. It really was amazing, the pace that you had. Were you surprised about the pace you had compared to everybody else? And what was it about the car today that gave you that confidence to push as hard as you did?
It's going to sound horrible, but yes, I kind of knew I had the pace advantage. We've worked, so the whole team at Williams, we've dominated in the Audi at the moment. Right, we're winning VLN, we won SCO. We found something in the car. We put so many hours into the car. We've just got the car literally as perfect as it can be. So it's automatically so much faster. So that helps. But even when we got the pace advantage, you still can't predict what's going to happen in the racing. I know Foggy's fast, I know Ross is fast, so yeah, I am a bit shocked, but kind of knew it as well.
Well, race 2 really was probably the most interesting one for you, I think. But the important thing, I guess, was getting past those guys right at the very start, because they would have been obviously the ones that would have been the main challenge.
Yeah, race 2 was really good. Obviously, with the pace advantage I saw in race 1, I've been trying since I ever started a series was to get the free wins. It's never been done in a series, and the Audi is my best chance I've got at the moment. So I knew I had to be smart, but get on with it in a way. So lucky enough, I teed it perfectly. Obviously, catching on the last lap. There's a few instances what I got caught up in coming through, which was a shame. But
we're just seeing one on the screen. We got mounted by a BMW.
Oh, in race 3. Yep, that was that. Funny enough, that was only one of about 10,000 incidents in that race. I think I was off of the track making my own layout in the Casio Triangle at some point in that race.
There wasn't a lot you could have done. I was just watching it back. Very little you could have done, and then of course you had to kind of stop and wait for everyone.
Yeah, I couldn't really drive through them.
No. Some people would have done. I'll be honest. But I think in the old days you might have done as well. But not today. Did a good job. Going on to Spa then in 2 weeks' time. I mean, you must be confident with that one going forward.
Yeah, Spa we raced there 2 weeks ago in Imsa Prime Time, and again we dominated that, which was quite good. I've not actually personally driven the car around there since the update, so it'll be interesting to see how I get on with it, because obviously the car is very aggressive and very loose, so it's going to take a bit to get used to. But again, it's a track I've done millions and millions of laps around due to all the GT Pro stuff, etc. So overall, I think it'll be a better track, because I prefer it over Suzuka.
Well, there you go. I mean, that's one for everyone else to watch out. Josh, you know the drill. If you give the shout outs to your sponsors and your team, and you did a good job last time, so see how you get on this time.
I've got the list this time, so.
Hey.
So obviously you guys first off for the broadcasting. Always, it's great as always. All the World GT admins. Go on.
Oh, thank you very much, sir.
I thought you were going to say something else then.
No.
Obviously all the World GT admins, they do a good job with the series. Can't thank them enough. And obviously everyone at Williams eSports, and all the sponsors, Chill Blast, Team Razor, BenQ, Placey, Fanatec, One All Sports, and then obviously Freema UK and Craig's Elf Shop.
Well done. Perfect. Right. Well, thanks very much, Josh, for joining us. And we'll see you in 2 weeks at Spa.
Cheers, guys. See ya.
Cheers, mate. Yeah, great job there by Josh Thompson. And Sam, I believe you've got a victim. Have you got another victim for us?
I have. I would just point out, I don't know who just threw me out of this comms channel. I don't know if it was...
Wasn't intentionally, mate.
But I get the message. Billy Fletcher, though, is with us in the commentary booth. Now, he had a terrific meeting. Congratulations, Billy. Definitely highest scorer out of the Pro-Am drivers. How were you so quick today?
Hard work. I must admit, I've been slacking a touch on really sort of trying to find that edge for the Audi. Spent a week finding where I needed to improve. Big thanks to David Williams from VRS. Bit of a lesson with him, and we unlocked some speed, and it was really good to be at the front again. So I've really been frustrated this season.
Yeah, Dave's a good guy. We've met up with him a couple of times, and he knows his stuff. That's for sure.
Definitely, and of course, how was the racing out there? We saw a few incidents, particularly in the early laps. You seem to manage to get through most of it. How was it from your perspective?
Race 1 was good. No real problems. Race 3 again, it was nice because I managed to just kind of tag on to Ross and just get. But race 2 was carnage. People just bumping people off, not being sensible into the hairpin. That's what seems to be the problem. You're trying to leave the gap so you got that bit of leeway, and people just don't. They sit right on your bumper, you hit the brakes, and they just slam you off the track, which is what happened to me in race 2. Towards the end of the run, just got punted up there into the hairpin, which was a shame, really, because I think it would have been 3 brilliant results rather than 2 brilliant results and a 3rd average result.
I'm looking for you in the championship. I can't find you in the championship. How are you doing in the championship? And have you got any aims for the end of the season with only 3 rounds to go?
Keeping the top 10. I missed 2 rounds as I was rigless for a while, and I was really struggling with the Mercedes. That's why I switched over to the Audi. But since the switch to the Audi, I found a bit of pace. New rigs helping out. Big thanks to Luxim24. They're the guys that I manage their esports team, and they supply me with an awesome bit of kit, and it's definitely showing. It's improving the driving.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having a chat with us, Billy. Is there anyone you'd like to thank before we let you go?
Shout out to Rob Pearson, who owns Luxim24, for bringing me on board and trusting me to look after the team. And big thanks to Ant for the car paints and that. He does an excellent job. He's not been doing this long, and he's producing some excellent paint job. And then again, a big thanks to Dave from VRS for his help for getting me there. So it wasn't for him, I don't think it would have happened.
Awesome. Well, congrats once again today, Billy. Best of luck for Spa in a fortnight's time. We'll see you there.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Billy Fletcher there, and yeah, I mean, it shows, doesn't it? Hard work, practice, and a bit of know-how. Certainly, indeed, pays off, I think. And that Audi, well, we saw that it was quick today, but only a couple of drivers really managed to unlock its pace, and Fletcher was certainly one of them.
Definitely. I mean, the difference between the cars, probably, yeah, maybe a couple of tenths of a second, and then the Ford. But even the Ford is probably only a few tenths off, but so to really unlock that Audi pace, very, very impressive. But it certainly shows how competitive a car it is. It's certainly right there.
Yeah, indeed. And we'll have a quick chat with Ethan Bass, who's been waiting there patiently. Ethan, welcome to the commentary box.
Hello, it's a long time no speak.
Yes, indeed. Good run out there today. Race 3 especially, 9th position. Take us through that, because it looked, from our point of view, it looked absolutely mental out there in that one.
Race 3, no, race 3 was actually not too terrible. Race 2 was the more hectic one, but race 3 was enjoyable. Yeah, I think that was good.
So what was it? What went on in race 2 for yourself then?
Race 2 was, again, I think similar to Billy, was still sometimes checking after people, and some people ended up kind of stuck and hit at the hairpin. You ended up with a roadblock in front of you, or someone would get into someone, and unfortunately you had nowhere to go, or something like that. And then some silly mistakes, like I lost at 130R and somehow didn't die.
I guess you were, well, yeah, a couple of people. We saw Chaz Drake on his roof in the at the end of the last race. So yeah, you got away with that one quite nicely. I guess in race 3, thinking about it, you were well ahead of all the nonsense at the hairpin in the last race. But what's it like out there in this car? I mean, it seemed like the Mercedes was going fairly decently out there.
I did actually have reservations. A lot of people had reservations about the Mercedes here, but something clicked during race 2. I don't know if it was just the really, really hot temperatures, kind of made me aware that I was like, there is actually a way more grip, and if I wasn't so boxed in, if maybe the track was a little bit wider, a little bit easier to pass, I would have gotten a much better result in race 2. And then I was able to carry that pace into race 3 to the point where Mercedes was a dream around here. It's just maybe I got a bit too much wing and I wasn't keeping up with the McLarens on the straights.
That's the thing with this circuit, though, isn't it? It's the reason why I think it's so good is that there's a lot of places where the barriers are close, and there's gravel runoff areas, and there's and the track is quite narrow. So to make a move, it is a bit of more of a waiting game. It is more of a surgical game, and when you've got to, I guess, do it in a 20-minute sprint race, I guess things can get a little out of hand sometimes.
They can get out of hand sometimes, and it is more a patience game of waiting for a mistake or waiting for something else to happen in front of you and then try to avoid it. But when you have it all hooked up, like I had it tonight through the S's and through the back end of the track, it was, you could get runs on people, and getting runs on people was how you overtook. It wasn't really actually corner speed or top speed, anything. But it was a case of just not making mistakes and hanging on.
The good results today definitely put you in with a chance of, well, much more improved chance at least of finishing in the top 10 in the championship. I mean, is that going to be the aim ultimately?
The aim was, when I saw in Pro-Am, the aim was always to try to fight for the Pro-Am title, and after a good bunch of rounds at Monza and Daytona, I was sitting third going into this event. after race 2, which didn't go to plan for anybody, so let's not talk about that. I'm not entirely sure how it will fit because race 1 was excellent. I was maybe a little bit too cautious in race 1. Got past me on lap 1. I'm like, go ahead, camping. I'm trying to keep my nose clean, which I did in race 1, and then tried again in race 2, and it happened. And then race 3 was good fun, but unfortunately on lap 1 I was behind Bun and such, and into the hairpin. I had nowhere to go, so unfortunately no special bonus there. And then I'm not entirely sure what happened with Hedgecock in race 3. Just watched the broadcast there. I didn't touch him
on the screen, yeah.
Yeah, I got no touch there. I didn't feel anything for the wheel. I didn't have contact. Nothing. I'm not entirely sure. Not entirely sure. Maybe iRacing servers are maybe potentially a bit overloaded with everyone else.
Unfortunately, I wasn't looking at the screen at the point of impact or the point of when he spun, so I didn't see if it was you or if he did it himself. But we'd have to potentially have another look at that at some point. But yeah, third in the AM category though, and potentially higher given the fact that I think the other two, Horder and Gray, Horder was 19th and Gray didn't finish. So yeah, potentially you could be right on the tail going into Spa, which is a circuit which I know a lot of drivers enjoy. Is it one that you personally like?
I think it'll be a good car. It'll be a good track for the Mercedes. I think all 3 of the last tracks, especially Watkins, will be good. And the fact that it's endurance, which actually benefits me, because I feel like I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm less aggressive, which means maybe I don't explode out of the gates on lap 1, 2s and camping. But I seem to nurse these tires a lot better. Like in all 3 races, I seem to have a consistent pace right up till the end. Race 3, I think I might have overdriven them, hence why maybe and the other pros got past me. But that was one minor mistake, and then I got freight trained.
Well, there you go, and that we said that could happen, and yeah, it did for quite a few people. Before we let you go, before we wrap things up here, give us a shout out to your team and your sponsors and whoever you'd like to talk about.
Not entirely sure if you've seen the car, but there's no sponsor, so I guess the only people I have to thank is everyone at Admins for World GT for hosting this. This is my 2nd season with this, and it's been very much enjoyable. I've loved the change to the endurance format. GT3 cars, I had reservations, but I've enjoyed the Mercedes and I've got the hang of it. New tire model I actually enjoy on these cars, not GT, so I'm glad I'm not racing them. But then I have to thank you lot at Apex for the broadcast, and then Pure Sims for the main sponsor on the wing. I guess they're the main sponsors of the championship, so thanks for helping us run the championship.
Well, there you go. Yeah, without them, we wouldn't be providing the championship at the moment, of course. Ethan, thank you very much, mate. Thanks for your time, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks' time.
Yep, thanks very much, and we'll see you at Spa-Francorchamps.
Indeed. Have a good one. Ethan Bass there, Sam. Good top 10 result there, and moving up in the AM category.
Yep, and there are so many competitive championships still going on. So, I mean, I swear, if Mark Fletcher is still the leader of the Pro Championship after this, then I'll resign, because he's somehow been able to hang on. But I think finally those points that he's lost in recent rounds will come back to bite him.
Well, Adam Batt's in the other channel, so if I need someone else, I can just
Exactly. I am very disposable. To say. So I think it'll be McClay or Harrod at the top. Mangan was pacey today, but he didn't have the best result. F Docker's right there. F Docker was quite consistent to be fair. Palmer in 6th place, he's right there. So many drivers who can still win the Pro Championship. Horder, Gray, Bass, as we were talking to. Bun, how great was he in race 3? So that's going to help.
That was a big under the radar thing, that Matt Bunn getting 4th place.
Yeah.
He's always good, is Matt. He's always a good driver. He just he does have a few spins. Didn't obviously have one there. We didn't see one, at least. So yeah, when he puts it all together, he's certainly up there. Right, well, it's nearing 10:30, so it is pretty much all we've got time for here tonight on the iRacing Esports Network. I've been Andrew Woodhouse. I've been with Sam Fitzpatrick and with Sam Kumo doing the cameras, which, as we see every week with 50 cars out there, is a big old challenge. Just want to say before we go, like I say, make sure everybody stays home, stays safe if you can, and looks after themselves, because obviously, mental health very important and very, very, something that we need to talk about in these trying times. So don't be afraid to talk to anybody if you need any help. And with that, this ends the broadcast then on the iRacing Esports Network. We'll see you in 2 weeks' time for the World GT Championship at Spa-Francorchamps. Good night.